Hi, you're listening to Everyday Superpower, a place where you can take some time to learn to understand the benefits of learning how to read body language and nonverbal communication. How to understand what somebody is thinking purely through what their body tells you, outside of their own awareness, such as the signals you send off into the world without even knowing about it. If you enjoy the lessons at hand, what I'd like you to do is click subscribe, and without further ado, we're going to move on to the lesson. So today we're going to be talking about the feet. In particular, we're going to be talking about the foot stance of an individual, so the width as to which their feet are apart, okay? Now, as we've discussed in earlier videos, the feet are the most honest indicators of someone's mind, alright? So if you want to learn how to read someone's mind and where they want to be, where they want to go, whether they're attracted or repulsed to a particular stimuli, thought, or whatever is going on in the environment, you need to have a look at the feet, okay? So if you're interested as to why it's so honest and understand the hardwiring behind that, feel free to check out my earlier videos. Now, a normal stance is around shoulder width apart, okay? Anything beyond that shows that the individual is super grounded and confident, and we have looked into territorial behavior. I'm going to do a very healthy video on territorial body language and communication and what it represents and how it sort of manifests itself in so many different means. So it shows that an individual is grounded and confident the more expansive the feet are, okay? So the width of the stance represents territorial behavior. The more expansive and the more space you take up, the more it projects a feeling of dominance and right to take up that space, okay? Now, this person probably has no idea what they're doing, but you're able to identify through this behavior that this is what they're trying to imply on a subconscious basis. They feel they're worth the space, okay? So you'll see this behavior with cars and large houses and owning land and so on and so forth. It's all different degrees of the same behavior. It's all territorial, all right? So the width of the stance is very important. What you need to take into consideration as well is the further the legs stand apart, the more on show the genitals are. So it's also a genital display, which, given it was a man to a woman, may be deemed as a sexual display, whereas a man to a man, given that they're not sexually interested to each other, might be deemed more so as a display of dominance, all right? Because an individual who is willing to showcase their extremities like that obviously isn't scared of any attack or any predatory behavior from the other side. All right, so just to re-clarify, it's not only a territorial behavior as the legs start to branch off, but it's also a genital display, all right? You will see this behavior more so with men than with women, just due to the fact that men are generally taller, and in being taller there's a higher center of gravity, meaning there needs to be a broader base at the bottom to ensure that it's safe and sound, all right? A cluster it could be accompanied with is the head held high, the shoulders back and the chest out, a very proud, open body language, all right? So it comes with a very clean, clear and projective body language, telling the world that you're all right and things are good, okay? So it might not be deemed as a great position if you're having to face an individual such as your boss who's feeling this sort of way and sort of raining down on you, but generally speaking, it is better for a person's psyche to have a broad foot stance and feeling good and having this open body language than somebody who's the opposite, who has a tighter foot stance, has to hide themselves from the world, and what comes with that also is a potential to be caught off guard by any potential threat purely as an individual can't initiate that flight as well when they're all hunched up and their legs are close together. All right, so just to re-clarify, Pay attention to an individual's foot stance. Obviously, the direction of the feet is very important, but second to that, you'll be able to absorb the information as to how far away these feet are. And we are speaking primarily on the standing individual. A lot of these behaviours still do make sense when the individual is seated, given that both of the feet are planted firmly on the floor. But what we're going to be talking about, or what we have talked about actually in this video, is standing position. So to re-clarify, it's very territorial. The more space you take up, the more your subconscious mind is letting that individual know, or letting you know, that you deserve that space and that's yours, rightfully so, okay? So it's a very dominant subconscious behaviour. It's seen more in men than women. And it's a genital display, which, if you're new to nonverbal communication, it's not a creepy thing. Genital displays do come out in their own way. We are animals. We still find indirect means of acting in ways society deems we shouldn't, alright? Because it is completely normal for us to behave in this manner. So it is a degree of genital display, and what that genital display shows is that you're not scared, okay? Men don't have their genitals on display, just like women don't, for no reason. It's a statement that I'm not afraid, and I'm standing here comfortable, confident, I'm grounded, and this is my space. Hopefully this lesson was of benefit. Hopefully you enjoyed what I had to say today. I have made a email address if anybody wants to inquire. I'm going to start doing commissions and doing one-to-ones, helping people to understand the world around them, analysing photos and so on and so forth. If you are interested and if you like what I do, I am uploading very regular. This account's been awake now for about 4 weeks. I've done over 30 videos so far, delving into different topics and isolated behaviours. Alright, plenty more to come. So click subscribe and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.